again. Today I'll be talking about the new Amazoness cards coming out of I forgot what it's called. Basically, it's a pack revolving around Earth monsters, or at least Earth decks used by characters in the Yu-Gi-Oh anime. And fun fact: when I was going through these the first time, I did not notice that Leo was on the front of this. So Morphtronics are getting support, and I guess this is kind of like what happened with Sharia LeBlanc. Because not all Morphtronics are Earth monsters, but yeah, I guess. Not all of them are Earth monsters, same way how most of Cheryl LeBlanc's cards aren't Wind monsters, yet it got support in a pack revolving around Wind monsters. Anyways, let's get started. So I just don't want to waste any more time. So first off, we have Amazoness Kaiserin. And it's a Earth Warrior fusion effect monster that's level 10 and has 3200 attack and 2800 defense. And it requires one Amazoness fusion monster plus one Amazoness monster. You can only use this card's first effect once per turn. If this card is fusion summoned, you can special summon one Amazoness monster from your deck. Pretty good. You can special summon a queen or a princess. I don't know. That's about all I can think of because most Amazoness cards aren't really that great on the field, or at least net you some kind of significant advantage. Second effect: your opponent cannot target other Amazoness monsters you control with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. Pretty nice. It provides protection similar to Queen. And I guess if you have Queen on the field as well, you can actually have Queen protect this card and this card protect Queen, thus forming a soft lock. Third effect: this card fusion summon using Amazoness Queen and or Amazoness Empress. Oh yeah, I said Queen. Whoops, I meant to say Empress because Empress is the fusion monster that would protect against card effects. Because I think Empress protects all Amazoness cards and not just Amazoness monsters. But I meant to say Empress and not Queen when referring to the second effect. Anyways, if you use Amazoness Queen or Amazoness Empress as material, this card can make a second attack during the battle phase, which chances are you're going to be doing because it says Amazoness Fusion Monster. And you'd most likely be using Empress. And if not Empress, you'd most likely be using Queen just for the Amazoness part. So that's a plus, I guess. Next off, we have Amazoness King Liger, and it's level 9 Earth Beast Fusion Effect monster with 2900 attack and 2800 defense, and it requires one level 5 or higher Amazoness monster, aka Queen, plus one Amazoness monster. I mean, there's also more level 5 or higher monsters in the deck now, but I'll get to them later. But you're most likely going to be using Queen. And of course, this one is a lot easier to summon than the previous one. And its effect reads: monsters your opponent control cannot attack monsters except for this one. Pretty nice, basically sharing the same effect as its predecessors. And the second effect, being a hard once per turn, reads: you can target one Amazoness card you control and one warrior Amazoness monster in your graveyard to destroy the first target, and if you do, special summon the second target from your graveyard. So basically, you can just special summon back a Queen or an Empress that's in your graveyard. So that's pretty nice. Also, this card cannot attack the turn you activate this effect. That part is not nice. Next, we have... it says the turn, not for the rest of the turn. If only Konami used that terminology on a lot of other cards. Maybe then the card game would actually be more balanced. Next we have Amazoness Shaman, and it's a level 2 Earth Warrior effect monster with 800 attack and 1800 defense. And its first effect reads: if this card is in your hand or graveyard, you can target one Amazoness card you control except Amazoness Shaman. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except Amazoness monsters. Also, return the target card to the hand, and if you do, special summon this card. Pretty nice. It doesn't banish itself when it leaves the field, so you can basically use it a bunch of times. And by a bunch of times, I mean once per turn, like all effects should be. And the second effect reads if this. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention this is a hard once per turn. Second effect reads if this card is special summoned, you can add one polymerization from your deck to your hand. I should also include a graveyard, so that way you could just add it back from the graveyard and just use it over and over again if you want. But it's whatever. Basically allowing you to fusion summon a lot more easy. Because basically Amazon's had the same issue as Destiny Heroes, where they gave you fusion monsters, but they didn't give you consistent ways of fusion summoning. So now the deck has more consistent ways of fusion summoning, since this deck not only has a way to search poly in the form of Shaman, but Konami actually decided to give Amazon as a fusion spell, so naturally you can search it off of a princess. Next we have Amazon as Gold Whipmaster, and it's a level 5 Earth Warrior Pendulum effect monster with 2000 attack and 1200 defense, and with a pendulum scale of 1. First effect reads, Amazon's monsters you control gain attack equal to the level times 100. Pretty nice. You could basically get some of your high leveled Amazon's monsters to pretty beefy stats, and then just beat over your opponent. Basically KO your opponent, especially if you have Amazon's Village on the field, plus this card. And I guess you used it with Amazon's Kaizarin, and she's able to attack twice. I know that's, getting all that, like setting all that up on the field without any type of interruptions is going to be very difficult to do, especially in today's game, but that is something you can do. And the second pendulum effect reads, when an attack is declared involving your Amazoness monster, you can target one spell trap on the field, destroy it. Pretty nice. And it says on the field, meaning you can pop your own ambush and then use ambush's effect to special summon an Amazoness from your graveyard, which is also pretty nice. But wow, is this card way better than Sage. Now for the monster effect, it reads, if this card in the monster zone is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. By the way, the other pendulum has this exact same effect as well. Second effect. Also, this is a hard ones per turn. Both of these are hard ones per turns. Same with these. I guess the second effect is a hard ones per turn, obviously. Second effect reads, if an Amazoness monsters is special summoned to your field while this card is in your graveyard, you can place this card in your pendulum zone. And I think the other one has this exact effect as well. Next off, we have Amazoness Silver Swordsmaster and this level 3 Earth Warrior Pendulum effect monster with 1200 attack, 2000 defense, and a pendulum scale of 7. And in its first pendulum effect reads, Amazon's monsters you control gain attack equal to the level times 100. Again, I pretty much mentioned that they all have this effect. Second effect, when an attack is declared involving your Amazoness monster, you can target one Amazoness spell trap in your graveyard added to your hand. Basically allowing you to recycle your fusion spell as well as ambush if you did decide to pop it off of the other pendulum monster, or if your opponent pops it, which I doubt your opponent's going to do, or I doubt your opponent can do, especially if you have Amazoness Empress on the field, because Empress protects a lot of your Amazoness cards, not just monsters. And basically allow you to just recycle your important Amazoness spells and traps. Now for the monster effects, both of them being the same as the other ones, so I'm not going to go over them. Next for the spell, I was going to say spells, but there's only one spell, and no new traps. But that's fine, because Amazoness Ambush is all you need. Anyways, for the spell, it's a quick play, which is nice, so it allows you to fusion summon on your opponent's turn. Fusion summon one Amazoness fusion monster from your action deck using monsters from your hand or field as material. Pretty nice. And the second effect reads, you can banish this card from your graveyard once per turn. If you would fusion summon an Amazoness monster this turn, you can send one Amazoness monster from your extra deck as material instead. Which is pretty nice because it basically makes summoning the boss monster way easier. Because if you have Poly, you can just Poly, like especially if you have Poly, and I'm gonna explain what I was about to say later. But anyways, if you have Poly, you could just banish this card from the graveyard, and then you could just fusion summon using one Amazon's monster from your extra deck, thus making summoning the boss monster way easier. The only thing I hate about this card is the fact that this is a super hard once per turn. You can only use one effect each turn. Or one of these effects, which is so dumb. Because that means this second effect was made purely with Poly in mind. But if that was the case, you could have just not included this effect at all. Hell, matter of fact, I don't see any reason for the first effect to be a hard once per turn. I guess you don't want them looping this card. I guess because that one pendulum card basically adds it back. So the first effect being hard once per turn, fine. But this second effect, I just hate the fact that you can't use both effects in one turn. They just had to make it like you can only use them on separate turns, which is pretty annoying. Because if you use this card to if you use this effect for Poly, and you just happen to have another Amazoness Secret Technique in your hand, you can't use it. As if this deck needed any more restrictions when it came to fusion summoning. Anyways, that's all we have for the Amazoness cards. Tell me what you guys think about them, and it's been me, your boy Blue Guy, and I'm out.